First, I'm going to give background, and then we'll start talking the halacha. This is a sugi in Psachim on Kuf Aleph Amid Beis, Kuf Beis Amid Aleph. The Gemara starts on Kuf Aleph Amid Beis. Shinui Makam Tzorach Levarech. You change a place, you have to make a bracha. There's one Amora thought, not that way. The Gemara says it brought a brice against it. So it says Shinui Makam, you change your place, you have to make a new bracha. Rav Chisda, now, Rav Chisda says in Rav Huna that this is only mibayis labayis, from house to house, building to avo. But now the two gisos in the Gemara. The text we have in our Gemara is mimakom lamakom, from one place to another place, lo. You don't have to make a new bracha from one place to another place. Rashi says it means mibayis labayis, from one floor to the other floor. There you do not have to, only from building to building. However, the girsa on the side of the Gemara from the Marsha is not me bias, not me makom lamakom, but me pina lapina. From one corner to the other corner, you don't have to make a bracha. In other words, we don't have to make a bracha. It's not like our girsa from one floor to the other floor, but from one corner to the other corner. Now, that's A. The Gemara has a machlokes there of Amoraim between Rav Chisda and Rav Sheshes. Is this halacha that when you change your place, you have to make a new bracha? Does this apply in things that you have to go back to the original place to make a bracha achrona? Certain things you have to make a bracha achrona in the original place. So Rav Chisda says, if it's something you have to go back, like bread, to the original place to make a bracha, if you change your place, you don't have to make a new bracha. And the Gemara says, why? L'kfiya kama hadar. He has to go back to his original kfiyas, and therefore Shinei Makom does not require a new bracha, because he has to go back to the original place. That's Rav Chisda's opinion. Rav Sheshes argues and says, no, it doesn't make a difference whether it's bread, you have to go back, it's an apple, it doesn't make a difference. You have to, when you change your place, you always have to make a new bracha. Now, what are things that you have to go back to the original place to make a bracha? What foods are that? So there's a machlokes Rishonim on the spot. Rashbam says it's anything that is mechayev a bracha chashuva l'atzma. Anything that has a chashuva bracha to itself, and not just a simple rain of portions. And he explained it's anything that either requires birkas hamazon or bracha achas mein shalosh. It could be mizonos, it could be a wine, it could be even shivas hamim, al eretz v'al peros. Any of those things require a bracha in the original place. Tosas there, Dibra Maskal Ella argues and says it's only bread requires a bracha in the original place. Right? He writes, perhaps Shema also maybe Mizon. That's what he writes. Okay? But certainly not wine, and certainly not Peros Shivas Hamim. Now, I just want to point out the Tosfos writes at the end of the Tosfos, let's assume you're having bread and you follow Rav Chisda, and therefore when you change the place, you don't have to make a new bracha. It applies to everything you have during the meal, even on those things that you have to make a bracha in the middle of the meal. Wine, you have to make a bread prakaf in the middle of the meal. Dessert, you have to make a bracha, special bracha in the middle of the meal. Fruits, you have to make a special bracha. Even on these things, since they're part of the meal, if according to Rav Chisda, if you change your place, you do not have to make a new bracha. Okay? Now, what things the halacha have to make a bracha in the original place? So if you look in the Mechaber in Kuf Pei Dalet Sif Gimel, the Mechaber quotes two shitos. He quotes first the Rashbam. He quotes the Rashbam that it's anything you need, even a bracha, in shalosh, you have to make a bracha in the original place. And then he quotes the Tosfos that it's only in chamishas minei dagan, it's only in motzi or ala milcha. That's what he writes in Kuf Pei Dalet Sif Gimel. Now, it says here, some say, right, you have to make a bracha in the original place. And some say only the chamishas minei dagan. The Ramah doesn't say anything here. However, the Ramah in Kuf Ayin Ches Sif Hey brings A third shita that it's only what? Only bread and nothing else. That's what he writes here. Halacha l'maisa, the Mishnah Berurah writes in Kuf Ayin Chesed Katan Mem Hey, l'chatchila in all Zayin, meaning you should go back to the original place. But if you change his place, right? So or not, and if you change his place, according to Rav Chisda, you don't have to make another bracha. Okay? In other words, he's not sure we should be machmer. In other words, you should be machmer on the one, you should go back to the original place. And if you change your place, don't make a new bracha, subject bracha lahaka. However, then the Mishnah Berurah quotes the Vilna Gaon, the Gra, who paskins know that, like the middle shita, includes bread, includes mizonos, but for ala peres, or it's ala peres, or it's ala peres, or ala gefen, priya gefen, that you don't have to go back to the original place. And if you change your place, you do not have to make a new bracha. Excuse me, you do yes have to make a new bracha because it doesn't require bracha in the original place. Okay, so again, the three shitos, bread, or even mizonos. The Mechaber quotes that either all the shivas hamina or mizonos. The Rama also brings in the shita of only bread. Halacha l'maisa, the Mishnah Berurah says you should always be machmir, always go back to the original place. But if you change, don't ever make a new bracha on these things. And according to the Gra, no, that the koveh is only bread and mizonos. That's what he says. And according to the Gra, so on the Zayin Minim, even according to Rav Chisda, you'd have to make a new bracha. Okay. Now, how do you paskin in machlokas Rav Chisda and Rav Sheshes? So Tosfos, this long Tosfos Kufa, not this Tosfos, another Tosfos Kufa Aleph and Beis, Kufay Zem and Aleph, Dibra Maskel Kashain. At the end of Tosfos paskin, you paskin like Rav Chisda. Any of the things in the original bracha in the original place, if you change your place, you do not have to change, make a new bracha, because these things require bracha in the original place. He passes like Rav Chisda. However, the Rambam in Hilchos Brachos and Perek Dalet Halacha Gimel paskins like Rav Sheshes that there's no difference. Doesn't matter whether it's water, an apple, or bread. You change your place, you have to make a new bracha. Now, there's another major machlokas rishonim over here. When you have to make a new bracha, wherever that case is, what do you have to make? So according to the Rambam in Hilchos Brachos and Perek Dalet Halacha Gimel, and again in Halacha Hey, you have to make a bracha achrona what you ate, and then a bracha rishona here. In other words, if you change your place and you had an apple there and you want to have another apple here, you first have to make a braid of pashos on what you ate previously, preferably before you leave, if not afterwards, and then make another braid priyos. That's what the Rambam. The Tosfos, the last Tosfos I quoted for Kuf Alpha Beis Kufay Zem and Aleph, quotes the Rashbam and the Rabbeinu Hananel, and that's his own opinion that you only have to make a bracha rishona. You don't have to make a bracha achrona on what came before. Just make a new bracha rishona, and your bracha achrona where you are now, or after you change your place, will cover everything. Okay. The only thing Tosfos says.
Rabbi, is that because on the go?
What?
If you're eating your apple on the go, will that also be an issue?
Next time.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the only thing he says is, Tosfos says that even though you don't have to make a bracha achrona on what you ate, but if they called you out and it might take a long time, you should make a bracha achrona because perhaps you're going to get delayed, you'll forget to make a bracha achrona, or it'll be too late, you'll be hungry again, your time will run out. So then you should make a bracha achrona because less you may not eat again in time. Okay. Fine. So just to sum up right now, there's halacha when you change your place, you have to make a new bracha. Okay, the two yourselves, what's called changing the place. You have to discern between two buildings, two rooms, two floors, and from one corner to the other corner. That's one issue. Then there's another issue over here in the Gemara about the things that you have to make a bracha in the original place. Does that change the halacha? According to Rav Sheshes, no. According to Rav Chisda, yes. Okay, and according to Rav Chisda, if you have to make a bracha in the original place, the fact you change your mind doesn't change anything, right? You have then a machlokas rishonim had a paskin like Rav Chisda, Rav Sheshes. The Rambam paskins like Rav Chisda. It does make a difference what kind of thing you ate. According to the Rambam, it doesn't make a difference. And then, assuming you follow Rav Chisda and you paskin like him, like Tosfos, you have to figure out what things require a bracha in the original place. And then there's another issue between the Rambam and Tosfos. When you do have to make a new bracha, do you have to first make a bracha achrona in the previous eating or not? According to the Rambam, yes, and according to Tosfos, no. Now, there is another point here in the Gemara. The Gemara says here that if there's a group of people eating together and they went out and they left somebody there. No, they didn't all get up and go. But there's somebody there, correct? Then, even according to Rav Sheshes, according to Rav Sheshes, doesn't help when you have bread. Let's assume that according to Rav Sheshes, you're having a meal, and then they all run out, I don't know, to see somebody, but they left somebody there. The one of the people was eating, they left them there. So according to the Gemara, it says there, Rav Sheshes will concur that since somebody was left there, so the original kviyas for achila wasn't changed, and therefore what? And therefore, you do not have to make a new bracha. That's what it says. Now, if you look at the Gemara exactly, the particular case that the Gemara is talking about is that they had something you require to make a bracha in the original place, right? Like bread or whatever other shitas are. So even though Rav Sheshes says it normally doesn't make a difference, but here, since if you left somebody, then it does make a difference. You don't have to make a new bracha. Now, the question is, what would be the things that you don't have to make a bracha in the original place? People sat down to have fruit, right? Not shivas hamina, whatever it is. And then they got up and they left somebody there. Now what? So this is a machlokas. The Ramah writes in Kuf Ayin Ches Sifei, it's the same halacha. As long as they left somebody there, the original thing is not bottom. However, a group of poskim, the Beis Yosef, the Bach, and the Taz, right? They say no. This thing about leaving somebody there only helps if it's bread, and it's only relevant according to Rav Sheshes. Because according to Rav Chisda, you don't need somebody there anyway. Okay? So again, this piece of the Gemara says that what? According to Rav Sheshes, they left somebody there, so he agrees you don't have to make a new bracha when you come back. Question is, does this apply to things that don't require bracha in the original place, and it's a machlokas haposkim? Okay, that is a general background about the Gemara. Now, let's try to explain a little bit in Svara what's going on here. It says in the Torah, the last pasuk in Parshas Eikev before Sheni, "V'chalta v'savata uveirachtas Hashem Elokecha al ha'aretz hatova asher nasan lo." That's the pasuk that talks about Yechayim v'bruchas hamazon midioraisa. Now, what brach achronas are dioraisa? This is a machlokas rishonim. The Rambam Hilchos Brachos and Perches Halacha Beis, according to the Maggid Mishnah, it only applies to bench. Brachas Hamazon is doraisa. All other bracha achronos are drabon. The Rush in Brachos in Perek Vav Halachos Os Tezayin says it applies to all shivas haminim. Anything make even al micha or al eretz or al peros, you have to. This is a dioraisa. Now, on a technical term, right, it depends how you understand what the pasuk is going on. You have to read the psukim before this in Eikev. The last three psukim before Sheni in Eikev go as follows. Eretz chita usara, begefen useina v'rimon, eretz zeh shemen u'devash. That's the Shivas Hamina. Next pasuk. Eretz Yisrael asher lo b'miskenus tochal bo lechem lo sechsar kol bo Eretz asher avonel barzel u'meharot tachsov nechoshes. Finally, v'chalta v'savot v'rachtas Hashem elokecha al ha'aretz hatova asher nasan lo. So the Rush says this din of making a bracha achrona goes on everything you just said previously and includes all shivas ha'minim. That's the Rush. According to the Rambam, it only goes on the mamish, the previous pasuk. The pasuk right before Eretz Asher Lo B'Miskenus Tochal Bo Lechem. So it goes on both psukim, only goes on the pasuk right before. According to the Rush, it goes on both psukim and includes all shivas haminim. But all the bracha achron is dioraisa. According to the Rambam, it goes on the previous pasuk, literally the pasuk before, only bread. Halacha l'maisa, the Machaber in Reish Tes Sif Gimel passes like the Rambam, and he says, if you don't know whether you benched, you have to make sabek brachas, sabek daraisa l'chumah. However, on all other bracha achronas, even ala micha, if you miss sabek, you don't make a new bracha. Now, the Mishnah Brura points out that a bunch of achronim, they always argue, whatever, a bunch of people argue, and they say that it might even apply to all shuvas haminim. So he says you can't, stop making a new bracha achrona, but if you can, eat another kazayis of it and then make the bracha achrona. And that's they run into this machlokas. I just have to add on an important point. You only chayiv in a bracha achrona doraisa if you satiated. B'chalta b'savata uveirachta, right? It only becomes doraisa, whatever you hold, if you ate a kedei svir. Okay, now, so
Yeah,
we
so you
now.
want to make a bracha, if you have a suffix, if you have less than a kedei svia, would you have bench still if you have a suffix?
No, it might be the from things to eat another kazayas, right? If you can, but otherwise, probably the proper thing to do. But I'm saying that if you have nothing else to eat, you wouldn't make it. The shurim of a kazayas for benching is just a drabana. Okay, so we explain now. There's a machlokas so where bracha achrona is doraisa or not. Now, why do you have to make a bracha on certain things in the original place? Why do you have to make a bracha in the original place? Whatever those things are. So, on Rabbi SIlver, there's an Otsar before Shea Talmud, it quotes a Sefer Torah Rafael. Now, what I'm about to say is not all quoted there. I didn't see the Sefer in the original. Rabbi Stern once told me what the whole thing is. So basically, he holds this thing about you have to make a bracha in the original place is only a din d'Rabbanan. And it's a takana drabanan that you shouldn't go out and forget to bench. Therefore, they said you have to make a bracha in the original place. But they only made this takana on a type of bracha that potentially is doraisa. So, brain nefashos is never doraisa. So they didn't make a takana there, right? Birchas Hamazon is potentially a doraisa if you eat a kedei svia. So therefore, they made the takana there. Even if it's only a kazai, you still have to make a bracha in the original place. Now, we had a big machlokas. What things you have to make a bracha in the original place? So it should depend what you hold is doraisa. If you hold only benching is doraisa, so then only that needs a bracha in the original place. While if you hold the all shuvas haminim is doraisa, like the rush, then that should require a bracha in the original place. The problem is that if this is the emes of pshat, you're going to have steers in what people hold here. About what they hold is the rights and what you have to make in the bracha in the original place, I'm aware of it. This mahalach doesn't work out in all the Rishonim because there's steers in what they hold, and it's not always consistent. Anyway, that is one mahalach. Now, Rav Moshe Feinstein in Tshuva in Orach Chaim Chelik Aleph, Simon Kuf, has a different opinion. And he says that that the mitzvah of bracha achrona is that you have to end your eating session with a bracha. And therefore, since your eating session has to end with a bracha, it has to be where you ate, right? And it only applies to what things is called a kvius and where you ate. Things that there's a kvius where you ate, therefore you have to eat your eating session with a bracha, and that's why you have to make it in the original place. I think Rabbi Stav once told me another pshat. I don't remember exactly. I think you wanted to tell me. There's halacha that the bracha achrona has to be chal on the food. And if there's a kvius in a place, it can only be chal there, and it can't be chal somewhere else. If it's something you eat anywhere, there's no kvius, then it can be chal anywhere. I think he told me something like that. Okay, now, let's continue. So we explained there's a machlokas, what's the rice, what's the strabon. And we explained why certain things you have to make a bracha in the original place. Now, what's a machlokas between Rav Chisda and Rav Sheshes? What is a machlokas between Rav Chisda and Rav Sheshes about whether things that you require a bracha in the original place, if you leave, that you don't have to make a new bracha? Now, I just want to remember, I want to remind you, the Gemara said a hezber. The Gemara said, according to Rav Chisda, you don't need a new bracha when you change places because the kviya kama hod. He goes back to its original kviyas. Now, there's a machlokas achronim on the following point. If you follow Rav Chisda. Things that require bracha achrona in the original place. So you don't have to make a new bracha when you leave. What if you never ate a kazayis? You made a motzi and you ate half a kazayis. Now what? Now what? And you change your place. Now do you have to make a new bracha achrona Rav Chisda or not? So the Magen Avram writes in Reish Yud Os Aleph, yes, the only time you don't have to make a new bracha if you ate a kashir. And this is how the Mishnah Berurah paskins in Kuf Ayin Ches, Sivka and Chav Ches. However, the Rashash in Kuf Aleph Amid Beis there in Psachim, and you have other days like this. You can look in the Otzer there. No, you don't need a kashir. You don't need a kashir. Now, therefore, let's try to be masbir what's going on here. According to the Magen Avram, so you have to eat a kazayis. Once you eat a kazayis, correct? So de facto, you have to before actually go back there to make a bracha achron, correct? Therefore, your whatever you eat is a continuation of the original meal. Let me just add an important point. When you say shini makom, what it does not require a new bracha. It doesn't matter whether you walked out and came back, or you walked out and you want to continue eating elsewhere. It goes together. If when you come back, you don't have to make a new bracha, right? So also, if you move somewhere else, you're not going to have to make a new bracha. And if you're going to have to make a new bracha somewhere else, you have to make a new bracha when you come back. Therefore, is follows. According to Rav Chisda, again, we're following the Magen Avram. Since you have to come back, correct? So wherever you eat, correct, it's a continuation of the original meal. Now this has to be explained a little bit more. There are two ways of explaining this. There's a machlokus. According to the Smak in Siman Kufnan Aleph, let's assume you eat in two places. I washed and made a motzi here, and then I continue somewhere else. Where do I make a brach? Where do I bench? So according to the Smak, it's not the way we pass it. According to the Smak, you have to go back to the original place to bench. You have to go back to the original place. So if you washed and made a motzi in the Chader Ochel, and then you decide to continue your room, you have to go back to the Chader Ochel to bench. That's what the Smak holds, right? So pshat is it's all one meal because you have to go back. So the whole meal is continuing because you started there. You have to go back there. Whatever you're doing interim is part of the original meal. It doesn't require a new brach. That's according to the Smak. Now we don't paskin that way. You look at our Chaim, Kuf Pei Dalet Sif Beis. If you start in one place and you eat bread in the other place, you can bench in the second place. It says Mishnah Berurah, you don't even eat a kazayis there. Once you eat a little bit there, you can bench there. It has to be bread, not mizon. So according to that, so why is it a continuation? You don't have to go back to the original place. So if you look in the Mordechai, in Arvei Psachim, in the old print, it's a Lamed Hayamad Aleph for the second column. She explains that if you don't eat here, you're going to have to go back. In other words, you walked out and went to your room. If you don't eat in your room, it's clear you have to go back to the Chader Ochel to bench. Therefore, it comes out that when you walked out, the original meal never ended because you have to go back there, correct? So therefore, if you decide to sit down and eat in your room, right, that meal never ended, and now you're continuing to eat. So the first eating never ended until you start eating here. Once you started eating here, right, so therefore, the two eatings it's a continuation. Two eatings are mitzvah to one thing. There was never a hefsek, because until you started eating, you had to go back. And once you started eating, it runs into each other. And therefore, the two eatings are mitzvah to one, because the other one continued until I started eating here, and now I eat here. The two eatings are mitzvah to one, and the bracha achrona is chal on both of them together. Okay, so let's just add up that according to the Magen Avram, this whole thing only works according to Rav Chisda if you actually had a kazait, and de facto you have to go back there, right? Why? So according to the Smak, that you always have to go back to the bench, it certainly is one meal. But even according to the way we pass, you don't. The point is, the Mordechai points out that if I didn't eat here, I have to go back, correct? So my original meal there continues until I start eating here. And then I can eat right away to eat here, so all thing becomes one big meal, and I can bench wherever I want. Now that's all according to the Magen Avram. You have to eat a kazayis. According to the Rashash, even according to Rav Chisda, According to Rav Chisda, correct? Even if you're not a kazayis here, nevertheless, I don't have to make a new bracha. Why? So you have to say, let me just add a point. Rav Moshe Feinstein writes in the above tshuva, even according to this sheet of the Rashash, I don't have to eat a kazayis, but it has to be that when I sat down here, I planned to eat a kazayis. I just jumped up before I ate a kazayis. But I never planned to eat a kazayis, forget it. So the point is, I sat down here to eat a kazayis. So there's a kvias here. If there's a kvias here, once there's a kvias, it's not mispat if I walk out. And a kvias is determined because I sat down to eat something that makes a bracha in the original place. Okay, that's the explanation of Rav Chisda. Why Rav Sheshis doesn't hold from this whole thing, and he says, no, when you walk out, that's it. You ended the whole thing. You ended the meal and you ended the kvias. The whole thing is over, and therefore you have to make a new bracha. Okay, so we explain now the machlokas between Rav Sheshis and Rav Chisda. Next.
Hey, Rabbi, that was all by bread.
What?
That was all by bread, not by mizonos.
No, it's the same thing.
Anything.
It depends what you hold. You have to make a bracha in the original place. You understand? Whatever you plug in here, whatever. You understand? If only bread you make a bracha in the original place, it applies by bread. If you hold that, whatever you hold in the Rishonim, if you hold that it applies by mizonos, it applies by mizonos. If you hold like the Rashbam, it applies by even the Shivas Amin, it applies by Shivas Amin. I had a half a grape, and then I walked out, right? Or a whole grape.
What's the Machaber hold of?
What?
Machaber, did you say Machaber holds of?
Wait. I didn't tell you to hold halacha. Wait. Be patient. Okay? Forget the. Now, we have a machlokas. Rishonim.
Rabbi, is this within the Rambam also?
What's this?
The Rabbi was saying if a person ate his ice time, there's a kvias. The Rambam has to make a bracha.
Rambam passes like Rav Sheshis. It doesn't make a difference. Rav Sheshis, in other words, Tosafos passes like Rav Chisda. So all these cheshbonos apply then. The Rambam passes like Rav Sheshis. So it's irrelevant. If you have, a full satiated meal of bread, you walk out, you have to make a new bracha. He doesn't know for this whole thing, the Rambam and halacha. All this was all in Rav Chisda. You with me? Whoever asked the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's the story between the machlokas, the Rambam, against the Rashbam and the Rabbi Hanan and the Tosafos? When you have to make a new bracha, you have to make a bracha achron on the previous food, or just the new bracha on the new food. So the Shar HaTzion and the Mishnah Brura in Kuf Ayin Ches, the Shar HaTzion Dalet quotes a levush, and he says that the Rambam holds that once the meal is split, right, and the Shini Makom, you walk out, you have to make a new bracha. So then it becomes two separate eatings, two meals, or two separate eating sessions, and each Masuda, or each Kvias, or each non-Kvias, every time you eat, it's Mechayiv its own bracha achrona. In other words, every eating unit requires its own bracha achrona. Correct? And if you hold that Shini makes a change, right? So then it comes out that there's two separate eatings, and each thing has to have its independent bracha rishona bracha achrona. And therefore, the Levush points out that even according to the Rambam, right, who says that you have to make a bracha achrona on the previous thing, that's only if you walked out. But let's assume you never walked out. Just all of a sudden, over here you had a hezach hadas. You got a phone call. I don't know. Somebody asked you how to read a Tosafos or something, and you forgot all about eating, and then all of a sudden, a half hour later, you wake up. Oh, I forgot I was eating. So then you have to make a new bracha. Then, even according to the Rambam, you don't have to make a bracha achron on what you ate. Why? Because it's not two separate eatings. It's all over here. You never walked out. It's just that since you forgot about eating, you have to make a new bracha rishon. This thing about you have to make a separate bracha achron on the previous eating was only when it became two separate eating units. And that's only when you walk out. Walk out and eat somewhere else, or walk out and come back. Now, that is the sheet of the Rambam. Each separate eating unit has to have its own bracha achron. Tosafos argues, either You can explain Tosfos in one of two ways. Either that what? There's no such halacha that every separate eating unit has to have its own bracha achrona. There's no such halacha. No such halacha. The two separate eating units, you make one bracha achrona, it's good enough. Or he is of the opinion that when you change the place, it doesn't make two separate eating units. It just means that when you walk out, it's like you forgot about eating. But it doesn't mean that it's two separate eating units. Either or. Either that there's no such halacha, each separate eating unit needs its own bracha achrona, or no, that changing a place doesn't cause a separate meal. Okay, this is all the background with a little information on the way. Now, halacha l'maisa, there's a major machlokus here between the Mechaber and the Ramah in Orach Chaim in Kuf Ayin Ches in Sifim Aleph and Beit. The Mechaber paskins like the Rambam in 2 points. He paskins A like Rav Sheshes, that it doesn't matter whether you eat bread or mizonos or apples or water. There's no difference. You change place, you have to make a new bracha. That's A. He paskins like Rav Sheshes. 2, he paskins that when you change the place, you have to make a new bracha. You have to make a bracha achrona, what you ate previously, and a new bracha rishona. So according to the Mechaber, you're in the middle of eating a meal, and you're eating in the Chadar Ochel, and you walk out, and then you come back, correct? You have to bench and make a new bracha rishona, provided you weren't eating with a group of guys and that they're still there. That changes. Okay? But otherwise, you eat in one place, you go somewhere else, you have to make a bracha achrona, a new bracha rishona. It doesn't matter whether it's bread or water. Now, lechatchila, according to the Mechaber, you should make the bracha achrona before you leave, right? If you did, you make it when you come back on the previous eating. The Ramah argues on both points. He passes like Rav Chisda, so it depends whether you have to go back to the original place or not. In those things, it doesn't matter. You walk out, doesn't matter. You left anybody, you leave anybody, you come back, you don't have to make a new bracha, or if you eat somewhere else, you eat bread or zonos according to the grind, you go to your room, you don't have to make a new bracha. And the Rama also paskins like the Tosfos, the Rashba, the Rashbam, the Rabbeinu Hananel, that even, let's say you were eating an apple and you change places, even those things, all you have to make is a shakol or break praise. You don't have to make a bracha achron. You don't have to make a bracha achron. Okay, so let me just, it goes as follows. I'm reading the Mechaber. Somebody was eating in this house. Upasak sudaso, and he stopped his meal. And he went somewhere else. He's eating a meal. That means a motzi. He's eating. Somebody called you out to speak to him. And he went out. The Pesach, so he went out of the door of his house. And he came back. Since he walked out in the middle, he has to bench of what he ate. And then he has to make a new motzi. Great, that's what he says. Okay, and Ber Halachi holds according to the Mechaber, you have to make a new netilas yadayim. So it says if he remember, if he had hesach hadas, he has to wash his hands. If not, then he's not sure. Yes, he's not sure he has to make a new netilas yadayim. Anyway, so you have to bench and make a new motzi. Question about the washing, and then complete your meal. Period.
Rabbi, what about the bathroom?
Same thing. Okay, but it might depend in the same building. Next time, probably. Let's see what time it is already. Okay, now, then, that's in Sif Aleph. Then the Mechaber writes in Sif Beis, a group of friends that were sitting to eat, and some of them went out, a chasa and a kala, whatever it is, to greet them. If they left some people there, even one, it says in the Mishnah Berurah, they go back to the original place and they complete the meal. And they don't have to make a new bracha. And if they didn't leave anybody there, so then when they go out, they have to bench. And when they come back, they have to make, they have to make a motzi. And He says the same thing whether or not they were drinking or eating fruit, right? All these things that when you get up, you have to walk out. So it's the end of eating session. And therefore, you make a bracha on what you ate and a new bracha when you come back. Come back and go to the new place. Fine. This is, then he writes, this is something we didn't discuss. This is a Yerushalmi. If you're eating on the eastern side of the fig tree, and then you want to continue eating on the western side of it, you have to make a new bracha. That's what he writes, okay? If you want to know where this Yerushalmi comes from, it comes from, I believe, the end of Ketzad Mevarchim, the sixth parak of Brachos. And this Tosfos quotes it here in Arvei Psachim because he wants to prove against the Rashbam. He wants to prove that a fig is one of Shivas Haminim. There's no halacha. You have to make a bracha in the original place because otherwise, Tosfos says can't be. He's going like Rav Sheshes. We don't pass like Rav Sheshes. That's Tosfos, right? And he says that you see that that if you have to make a new bracha when you go to the other side of the fig tree, you see that figs are not like bread and not like mazanos. That's his proof. Okay, this is all the machaber. Then Hagak comes on the Ramah. There are those who argue everything that it says here. And it says, they say that what Shini Makom is only like if you got your mind off it. And therefore, if you change place, you only have to make a new bracha rishon. You never have to make a bracha achron. And, correct? And then he writes, and even in things that, and also, and he writes, if you left friends there, even though you're eating apples or whatever it is, you never have to make a new bracha at all. And then he writes, and if you ate things you need a bracha in the original place, correct? You don't have to ever make a new bracha. And therefore he writes that if somebody in the middle of the meal went to somewhere else or has to eat and he's eating and his friend calls him out, he goes back, he never makes a new bracha at all. Because bread, certainly you make a bracha in the original place. Fine. So it's basically his point. It comes out as follows: the two machlotim mechaber and Ramah. The mechaber paskins like Rav Sheshes, doesn't matter what kind of food you're eating. The Ramah says it makes a big difference what kind of food you're eating. And then there's another machlokus over here about when you have to make a new bracha, you have to make a bracha achron on the previous thing or not. According to the mechaber, yes. According to the Ramah, no. Okay, that is basically the background and the simple psak halacha mechaber Ramah. Now, next time we're going to have to go into all the nitty-gritty about what's called changing a place and what's called leaving people there, and et cetera, and your problem, the traveler, and all kinds of other issues, and what's called 2 rooms, what's called not 2 rooms, what's with your backyard, and so on and so forth. To be continued, Wednesday.